Are you truly living your potential, or are invisible boundaries holding you back? In this video, I'll share life-changing lessons about breaking through the limits you set for yourself. Drawing from personal experiences, timeless wisdom, and practical strategies, this is your call to step into a life beyond your comfort zone. Subscribe for weekly insights. Let's grow together. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. You're stronger than you think you are. And I know that might sound like something you've heard before, but stick with me. Today, I'm going to show you how to prove it to yourself. Most of us walk around living smaller lives than we're capable of. We put up fences in our minds, we label them as limits, and we tell ourselves, this is as far as I can go. But what if I told you that those limits aren't real? Let me tell you about a time I thought I'd reached my edge. I was 26, broke, stuck in a job I didn't care about. I told myself, this is just life. Every day felt like I was dragging my feet through mud, but one day something snapped. I decided to test my limits, physically, emotionally, and mentally. I signed up for a marathon, having never run more than 2 miles in my life. I remember that first training day. I ran a single block before my chest was on fire, my legs were jelly, and every voice in my head screamed, "You're not built for this." But something amazing happened when I pushed through. That first block became 2, then 3, and by the end of my training, I didn't just run the marathon, I finished with a strength I didn't know I had. And I realized something profound. The limits we hit aren't walls, they're illusions. But let's take this beyond running, beyond marathons. What limits are you living under right now? Maybe it's the belief that you're too old to change careers. Maybe it's the fear of failure keeping you from starting that side hustle. Maybe it's something as deep as thinking you don't deserve better relationships. Here's a secret. Those limits you feel are real only because you keep feeding them. You don't have to break through them overnight, but you can chip away at them, brick by brick. It starts with awareness. Ask yourself, what's one thing I've been telling myself I can't do? Don't overthink it, just write it down. Then follow it up with this question, why not? Often, you'll find the reason isn't as solid as it seems. When I was training for that marathon, I realized my why not wasn't about my body. It was about my mind. I was afraid to fail, afraid to look stupid. But when you strip away the fear, all you're left with is possibility. I once met a mentor who told me something that changed my life. He said, your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Think about that. Every dream, every big achievement, every moment of growth, it happens right outside the walls of what feels easy. Growth is uncomfortable, it's meant to be, but discomfort is also where the magic happens. You don't need to leap off a cliff to push past your limits. Start small, build momentum. If you're afraid of speaking up in meetings, commit to saying one sentence. If you're scared of failing at a new skill, commit to practicing it for 10 minutes a day. Small actions compound into massive transformation. Think of limits like rubber bands. The more you stretch them, the more flexible they become. But if you never pull on them, they'll stay rigid, confining you. So here's a challenge. Stretch yourself. Set one goal that scares you a little, and take the first step today. Remember, you weren't put on this earth to play small. Living beyond your limits isn't about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of fear. Let's end with this. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, living the life you've always wanted. Picture it vividly. What does it look like? Who are you with? What are you doing? Now ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to take one step closer to that life? Don't wait for a perfect moment. Start now. If this resonated with you, don't just let it sit in your mind. Hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and let's start a conversation in the comments. Tell me, what's one limit you're going to push past this week?